Hello, in this video we are going to cover what a smart contract is. This is very crucial to the Ethereum network, the Ethereum blockchain. So knowing what a smart contract is very, very essential. It's like the bloodline of it, not bloodline, I should say, the essence, the oxygen for Ethereum and the Ethereum blockchain. So the term was first used in 1997. So this is just going to be a quick history of smart contract, and it was used by a man called Nick Szabo, who was a computer scientist, a law scholar, and a cryptographer, so quite a heavy hitter. He was talking about smart contracts, basically cutting out the middleman, and he gave a few examples. We'll be covering some of those later on in this video. So they're very similar to, you can think of like a real world contract where you have a piece of paper that says if this condition is met, then this happens. So when you have a new job, for example, you get a contract, or you definitely should be getting a contract, and you'll state, stuff like salary, and this will be based on certain conditions, like obviously coming to work, so times, usually it's like 9 to 5, but it could be different depending on what sort of job you're doing. Maybe you're a night manager at some sort of factory or warehouse, then you won't have a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. job. It'll be slightly different. You'll have what your overall role is in terms of tasks. So it protects you, and also it protects the employer as well. So that's what contract is about. A smart contract is very similar in terms of it has a bunch of conditions. If they're met, then there's some sort of payout, whether it's money or whether it's something else. And the difference is it's completely digital. So this smart contract is completely digital, not digital, but be there, a completely digital contract. So there is no real world physical presence, and this is stored on the blockchain. So stored on the blockchain. This has a couple of very, very cool and unique properties. One, it makes it immutable, so it can't be changed. If you want to know more about blockchain, why this is the case, got a video covering that, feel free to check that out. And it also makes it distributed. Again, got a video covering distributed, decentralized, and centralized systems, how they work, the differences between them, and examples. So feel free to check that out. So it's a completely digital contract, and this is all with the aim of cutting out. So I was about to try and draw some scissors, trying to cut the word middleman, but you don't want to see my drawings. They're terrible. This is probably how my scissors would have looked. Actually, don't look too bad, but they sort of look like pirate swords as well. So yeah, it cuts out the middleman, cutting the middleman out, and we'll give some examples now of what exactly this means. So think of a vending machine, for example. When we have a vending machine, so a vending machine, I'm sure you've all used it or at the very least seen it. Let me just draw a quick vending machine, and we have a bunch of items in this vending machine. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it's like a half-a-liter bottle of juice. That's what it is. And if you were to pay $5, pretty expensive juice, $5, you would get this juice. And it's all automatically done. Yes, there is a physical person that comes and actually replenishes the stock of the vending machine, but assuming there's stock there, that device, that container, is self-automated. You you're going to see my epic drawing skill now. You, as the buyer, goes to the vending machine. Let's say if you have a some face there, you have $5, you put this into the vending machine. Vending machine determines that you have put enough money into it. You press a button. Let's just say this vending machine only disperses one type of drink, so you get this drink in exchange. No human person was at this situation, this part here, to give you the drink and take the money. So this container securely contains these bottles of juice, securely stores the money that it gets as well. And you might say, okay, you can, probably relatively easily break into it, but it's secure for what it needs to be. It's storing, relative, in this case, quite expensive juice, but still cheap items. So people aren't going to go through the hassle, whether that's because it's just effort to get into the vending machine, destroying the plastic glass or the metal container, or for the fact that it's actually illegal. So if the vending machine contained assets that were worth millions, then you would need something a bit more secure than a vending machine. So this is all automated. So this is the seller aspects. And when you go to a grocery store and you pick up, let's say, a bottle of milk, you go to the counter and you put it down, they scan it, they say it is, let's say, $1.50. You give them $1.50 and they give you that with a receipt usually as well. That's very similar to this scenario. The only difference is in between here you had a middleman, and the middleman you can think of as basically the company or the individual that was actually at the grocery store that really was just there to make sure you didn't steal it. Yeah, they're also there to provide information for you about certain items. Maybe it's information about the company, about the store, but it's sort of just there just to make sure everything's going okay. And with a smart contract, we're cutting this guy out. So that's what a smart contract is. You're cutting that middleman out, and very similar to a vending machine. So a smart contract like system in the real world has been around for a while and worked very, very good. Let's give you an example of a very popular product that could be implemented on an Ethereum based blockchain platform using smart contracts. So it is none other than Kickstarter. So Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform. So imagine if we have this sort of idea here. No, sorry. We have this over here. We have the creator. So the creator that has made this idea or product. So they're trying to raise funds, and maybe their goal is $1,000. So that's what they want to raise. And there happens to be four people, each of them willing to give $250. They could directly go to the individual and give it them. But this individual, let's for argument's sake say they're in the USA, and maybe this individual is in India, this one is in the UK, this one is in China, and this one is in Russia, for example. So all over the world. How would they go about it? How would they transfer the money? What would be the facilitation of this transaction? On top of that, how would the creator actually reach these people? Not in terms of getting the money, just getting the word out to tell them about this product. And that's where Kickstarter comes in. So Kickstarter acts as an intermediary. So we have Kickstarter now. So Kickstarter. And what these people do, they trust $250 to Kickstarter. And the sole purpose of Kickstarter really is to promote the idea of the creator. And if enough money is raised, so if this minimum amount they set is raised within the amount of time, so let's say it's 30 days, then the funds will be released to the creator like so. But if for some reason the funds weren't raised and maybe only $750 was, then a refund would occur from Kickstarter back to these guys over here. So Kickstarter is just like a pure middleman that can be eliminated. So let's draw this out again, and what we can have is, so this is the creator. Instead of having a triangle here, this is going to be the smart contract. So this isn't an individual or a group of people. This is a smart contract where the money gets transferred to it. It could be anything really. It could be money, it could be physical items, it could be intellectual property. It doesn't really matter. And this smart contract has properties, more specifically conditions. So the conditions were $1,000 minimum needs to be raised. They need to be raised within 30 days of this crowdsourcing campaign to go live. If both of these conditions are met, the smart contract automatically, without any human interaction on this side, releases the funds to the creator. If, for example, one of these conditions is not met, maybe they didn't raise enough money in the allocated time, then the money will be returned back to the seller. So this is just a great example of where something like a decentralized Ethereum based blockchain implementation using smart contracts can be implemented and just make it a lot leaner. And it's not to say that Kickstarter couldn't use some sort of smart contract system and just enhance the experience. It doesn't have to necessarily always eliminate the individual, because at the end of the day, this smart contract really doesn't have any interface. So what we'll get in the future is we'll have a bunch of smart contracts, sort of the back-end applications, and then the business will be less around creating the overall back-end and front-end and promoting that, and it will all be about who can create the best front-end. So Uber, for example, take Uber. Uber is primed and Airbnb is primed and ready, and there have been experiments done using DAOs, which are decentralized autonomous organizations. Got a video covering this as well. So DAOs are basically smart contracts, but took to the extreme, where you're trying to replace like a huge entity like Uber and Airbnb, and using a decentralized autonomous organization, we could have this backend for Uber. So a backend for, or an Uber-like system, I should say, Uber-like system, and you will just have front-end implementations. So let's say app 1. So assuming there's apps in this case, app 3 and app 4. And maybe app 4 has the best interface, it has the quickest times, just the overall best experience, this will more likely be the one that does better. So you can still make money off these in the way middlemen would, but it just allows you to create the interfaces on top, sort of the way WordPress allowed you to create sort of very slick looking, or Squarespace for example, slick looking websites on top of the internet. You're not creating your own internet, that's already there. You're just creating an interface on top, and the best one wins. So that's really what a smart contract is, just automated contracts that, when based on a certain condition, certain business logic, when that occurs, it does something, whether it's releasing funds, whether it's to do with ownership. Again, we've got a whole section covering other use cases for blockchain. Feel free to check them out. And let me just quickly go over some other examples. Banks, for example, could use it for loans, automated loans. They could use it for automatic payments, whether that's from, let's say, you and I to the bank, or from the bank to us, for example. And insurance companies could use it to help process claims. So again, it's not always about eliminating that middleman. It could just be enhancing the middleman by eliminating certain aspects of the middleman. And postal, for example, so payment on delivery like systems. Payment on delivery like systems would benefit from smart contracts. So that's it for smart contracts. If you got any questions, as usual, feel free to reach out. Feel free to go over this video and the other videos again if you're unsure about anything. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.